So let's talk about the Miami Heat, specifically Kel'el Ware, because I think there's not a lot of conversations going about him right now. In my personal opinion, I know we're hearing about Zach Edey. I know we're hearing a lot about Reed Shepard, but I can admit this kid has a chance to win Rookie of the Year. He's a dark horse to me, in my opinion. And the reason why I'm high on Ware is because his rim protection. If you're watching him out there, when he has his man on him, he'll drive to the basket. Sometimes he'll blow by Ware, but his recovery time is impressive. You either disrupt the shot or block it out of bounds or keep it in bounds. And what I love about that is he's learning to adjust on the fly, especially when you're getting blown by as a big guy. He's able to recover really well. And that's going to help him in the NBA because in the summer league, you're just looking for sample sizes. You're not looking for him to be perfect or any player to be perfect. You're just looking for the upside on the basketball in a basketball player. So when it comes to Kel'el Ware, what you're looking for is, okay, how is he on defense? When he gets blown by, what does he do? How does he respond? When he's running in transition, can he catch a pass way down the court? Where he has showcased that a lot of times, but he'll just sprint down the court, get in position for either a dunk or he'll catch it and shoot right over you. And that's impressive. I would love to see him work on his post moves just to clean that up, but that comes with time and maturity. So I think as he gets experience in the NBA, you're going to see this guy grow and either be, I don't know if he'll be an all-star player. We don't know his potential right now, but a really, really good rim protector and a guy who can disrupt players from scoring. That's a huge thing for the Heat because the Heat have needed a big guy all this time. You know, even as a Boston fan, I can admit, like, the paint was open. Outside of Bam, you could just score there whenever you want. So now they have another guy next to Bam where he can actually focus on 1 through 4 and Ware can focus on rim protection. Also, I want to see this more from him. I don't think this was his fault. I think this was just a coaching strategy this summer league. Attempt more three-point shots. He was at 1.7 during the summer league. I like to see that at like 3 or 4, even 5 attempts a game. I know he shot at 33%, but he didn't shoot a lot of them during the summer league. So for me, if I'm Miami, make sure he develops that three-point shot. Because in today's NBA, if you're going up against like the Boston Celtics and they don't have to really worry about you in the perimeter, they're just going to pack the paint, and so are other teams. So it's important for the Heat to make sure he works on that jump shot. Bam, do I expect him to be a three-point specialist? No, I don't. He's more like the mid-range, and he does other things out there which are important for the Heat, like setting screens, cutting to the rim, getting those easy dunks and layups, getting those offensive rebounds. So I think it's important to get Ware comfortable shooting from the perimeter so they can have more driving lanes for Hero, for Jimmy Butler, for Jaime Jaquez. I just think they got to make sure he's encouraged to shoot those. Because if you watch his Indiana tapes, he had trailing threes I saw. He would not be afraid to put it on the floor. So he's got that in him as well. There was a lot of offense where he was running a lot of pick and rolls and just lob dunks. And I like that because it just opens up his game even more. And it's good for him because if he doesn't have a really good post offense right now, we can just get in the post and just shoot over you. If you get those lob dunks going, it just helps his defensive energy. And if you can just throw it up to me really high and just catching those dunks, that is a weapon to have on offense. So I like what the Heat are doing here. Again, they get another great draft pick. People forget the Heat are really good at finding those first-round picks in the middle of the draft. You got Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez, and now you have a potential, I don't know if it's all-star or really good role player in Kel'el Ware. So I like what the Heat are doing when it comes to their draft capital. I just think they got to figure out the superstar. Do you go after a guy like Devin Booker next year, where he could potentially be unhappy with the Suns at some point? Or do you go after a guy like Joel Embiid? Maybe the Sixers don't work out for Paul George and him and Maxey. Or do you go after Giannis Antetokounmpo? There's a lot of different things that the Heat need to figure out. But I think for now, you build around Bam and Ware and Jaime Jaquez. Those are your three guys, and see the upside between those three. You know, we don't know yet what that looks like, but I think Miami needs to give that a shot because Jimmy is already, I read an article where he's going to go into free agency and not sign an extension. Maybe that would change. I don't know, but the Heat should not allow him to just walk. I think Miami needs to trade him at some point. I know that's hard to receive, but don't make this a LeBron James situation where he left and you got nothing in return. That's not a good idea. They don't own next year's first-round draft pick. If it falls between 1 and 14, that's owned by the Thunder. So the Heat need to figure out how to get back in the 2025 draft because there's a lot of good prospects out there, especially to fill in for Jimmy Butler's small forward position. So yeah, with Kel'el Ware, I would just say make sure he gets some more three-point attempts. He was at 18, 8, and almost 2 blocks a game in the summer league. I think he had 4 blocks or 3 blocks yesterday in the championship round. So that's just good for his maturity and experience. And I like where he's heading. I think as long as he stays hungry, obviously don't listen to the naysayers. People are going to criticize him. I saw an interview with Mike Woodson where he was talking about how, he can't control what Oregon did. Oregon called him lazy before he got transferred to Indiana. So imagine what kind of motivation that gave Ware. He showed out, and now he's making a strong impression with the Heat. The important thing is when it comes to Heat culture, they don't mess around. You got to put in the work. You got to grind. They don't want you being distracted. They want you to go out there and have an impact on the basketball court. And this is a great opportunity for Ware because if Jimmy ends up leaving, they're going to need another scoring option out there to fill that void. And if it's going to be Jaime Jaquez, great. But if Ware can give them some offense, especially from the perimeter, I think that just opens up the floor for the Heat. And I think right now we don't know his upside. So we don't know if he's going to be all-star or not. We have no idea. But I think if he can come out the gates and just make adjustments, maybe he'll struggle coming out for the regular season. You got to be patient because he's dealing with guys like Giannis, Embiid. He's going to deal with Jokic and all these bigger guys. And it might take him some time to adjust. So be patient with his development. If you think he's just going to come out and dominate overnight, that might not be a reality. It's just important to think about where you're going as a franchise for the Heat. Are you trying to compete? And if you are, what does that look like? Do you want to be – because I think the East 3 through 7 could be a serious dogfight, maybe even 2 through 7, because a lot of factors have to go in for things to work out right. But it's important for the Heat to figure out their direction here because you have Ware, you've got Jaime Jaquez, you got Tyler Hero, you got Bam, you have Jimmy Butler, but we know Jimmy might walk next year. So the Heat got to figure out, okay, we want to be competitive because we would like to get back in the 2025 draft. And if we are looking kind of weak and Jimmy's not happy, maybe we trade him for some 2025 picks so we can get in the draft, but especially the first round. I think that's important. There's a lot of depth there. So the Heat just got to figure some things out. I just think with Kel'el Ware, he's been showing a lot of potential here. I think he's a sleeper. I wouldn't sleep on Ware. He was phenomenal in the summer league. And as long as he continues to work on his game, stay focused, stay hungry, don't get comfortable, we win this championship, the Heat are in for a special player here, potentially. I don't know yet. But I think what Miami needs is to work on his post game and have him shooting some more threes because that's what he was good at for Indiana. And if you can have him out there 15, 20 minutes a night, maybe some more minutes next to Bam, that's only going to build the chemistry because you want to build around those two guys. That's going to be the focus. Make sure they get as much playing time as possible this season. Because even if you don't make a deep playoff run, or let's say you don't make the playoffs, you're trying to build something here. And I know that might sound very attractive, but you just got to look at your options and look at your expectations of, okay, we've got Bam, we've got Ware. We still have Terry Rozier. We'll see if he finds a role with the Heat. That's a big question mark. But I think they're in a good place when it comes to the young guys. Jaime, Ware, you just extended Bam. Just build around that and see what turns out. And maybe next year you go after Devin Booker. I know he could be unhappy. What's going on with the Suns? We'll see what happens with Giannis and Dame situation. If you want Giannis, I don't know if that's the best fit because he's more of a power forward. He's not really a small forward. You could put him there, but he's not a consistent jump shooter. So that might not be a good idea because he doesn't guard in the perimeter. He's more of an interior post guy. Plays defense in the post. So that might not be a good idea. Joel Embiid, probably not because you already have your big guys figured out and he's injury prone. So the best candidate is maybe Devin Booker. And what are the Heat known for in the past? Getting superstars, whether that's trading for Shaquille O'Neal. That got them a championship. You signed LeBron James and Chris Bosh, and then you signed Jimmy Butler. Now, this version of the Heat hasn't worked out. They have gone to the NBA Finals twice, so it's not like it's a major failure. It's just how it works in sports. You don't win all the time. They just got to assess the situation and evaluate what's going on. And if you got to pull the trigger to take a risk, do it. Because you look at what Brad Stevens has done with the Celtics, traded for Porzingis, got a lot of backlash for trading for Smart. Got Drew Holiday. That got some backlash because he traded away Robert Williams III, but they got a championship out of it. So if you're trying to be contenders again, you got to look at either the draft or look at trading. And also because of the second apron, a lot of owners might not want to go to that tax bracket where they pay more in taxes. So a lot of things the Heat got to figure out. But I do like Kel'el Ware. I think they're heading in the right direction here. They just got to be patient with the process and just make sure, you keep building the right foundation. And sooner or later, they'll probably be contenders again. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Kel'el Ware's performance in the Summer League. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.